Hello, Green Lawn. I'm Scott McDowell, the president of Lubbock Christian University. And I wanted to say a word to you about a concept that is in the book of Ephesians, specifically the idea of the heavenly realm or the spiritual realm that is a reality. 5 times in the 6 chapters of Ephesians, Paul uses this language in the heavenly realms. Quite literally, the translation is in the heavenlies. And one of my favorite passages is when he reminds us in Ephesians chapter 6 that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. And again, he uses that language, heavenly realms, 5 times. It's the idea of the real world, the spiritual world that is just beyond the physical. And we need to be highly aware of the fact that there is a spiritual world that is real and that we have an enemy in that world, and that when we deal with people who may even be particularly difficult, we need to be reminded of the fact that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against those spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Paul will say in Ephesians 2 earlier in this book, "As for you, you were dead in your transgressions and sins in which you used to live when you followed the ways of this world and of the ruler of the kingdom of the air, the spirit who is now at work in those who are disobedient." And when we think about people, particularly even people who may be disobedient, who may be a challenge in our walks with Christ, there is a spirit, a spiritual battle going on, and a spirit who may be working in their lives. I was reminded of the reference in 2 Timothy, the very last verse of 2 Timothy chapter 2. And actually, I'll back up to verse 25. It says, "Opponents must be gently instructed in the hope that God will grant them repentance, leading them to a knowledge of the truth, and that they will come to their senses and escape from the trap of the devil, who has taken them captive to do his will." Again, if we think about a spiritual battle going on and people who sometimes even may be a great challenge to us, if we recognize them not as enemies, but as people made in the image of God who are themselves involved in a spiritual battle and who, in fact, may have been taken captive, it reframes all of our conversations. And it certainly puts us in a place where we are free to be a leavening influence and a conciliatory influence and ministers of reconciliation, because we understand that our battle is not against flesh and blood. Have a great day. Blessings on you.